For sentences to make sense, there's a basic principle you should remember. The subject and its corresponding verb must agree in number and in person. A subject can be singular or plural, as in I or we. The correct form of a verb depends on the subject's number. A verb's person indicates whether the action or state is that of the person speaking. In other words, the first person, I or we, the person spoken to, that is, the second person, you, or the person or thing spoken of. The third person, he, she, it, or they. A general rule of thumb for subject-verb agreement is that if a subject-noun is plural, it ends in s, but not the verb. And if the subject-noun is singular, it doesn't end in s, the verb does. Exceptions are nouns that form irregular plurals, such as children. These still require a plural verb. Sounds simple, right? Well, not always. Figuring out the subject-verb agreement can be tricky in certain cases. If the subject is the title of a book or the name of an organization, the verb should be singular even if the title or the name is plural. If you have a compound subject, that is, two or more people, places, or things connected using the word and, the verb must be plural. When the parts of a subject form a single idea, or refer to a single person or thing, they take a singular verb. With parts of a subject linked by or nor, the verb in the sentence should agree with the subject closest to it. When one part of the subject is singular and the other plural, it's best to place the plural part closer to the verb. Collective nouns identify groups of people, like team or board of trustees. These are usually considered single entities, and so agree with singular verbs. However, if the focus is on members of a group acting as individuals, a collective noun can sometimes take a plural verb. Another area that causes confusion is measurements ending in s. Although measurements may identify multiple units, they're considered singular. Finally, indefinite pronouns can also have different subject-verb agreements. When an indefinite pronoun is the subject of a verb, for example, it's usually singular, as in, someone has misplaced the report. However, sometimes an indefinite pronoun can have a plural sense, like here, everyone understood the risk. Some indefinite pronouns, such as all, any, most, some, and none, can take either a singular or plural verb, depending on the context, like none of the paper is left, and none of the technicians are available. Then there are pronouns like both, few, many, and several, that take only a plural verb. Subjects and verbs must agree, but there are variations on that rule. Find the subject and determine its number and person, so you can avoid errors in subject-verb agreement. To make your writing more natural and readable, you'll sometimes need to remove repetitive words or phrases. Consider this sentence. Jim went to Jim's office to fetch the document from Jim's desk. Pretty repetitive. Using the pronoun his works much better. Jim went to his office to fetch the document from his desk. Pronouns are often used to refer to something earlier in a sentence. So, his office refers to Jim's office, the antecedent, which means to go before. Pronouns and antecedents must agree in gender, person, and number. First, let's consider agreement in gender. A pronoun can be masculine, feminine, or gender neutral. The last one is typically used to refer to something that cannot be classed as male or female. Traditionally, a generic he was used if the gender was unknown, or if you were using an indefinite pronoun that included both masculine and feminine genders. Nowadays, though, this is no longer acceptable. To avoid using the generic he, you can include both masculine and feminine pronouns, edit the sentence to use a plural antecedent and pronoun, or rewrite the sentence to avoid using a pronoun. Pronouns and antecedents must agree in person. Keep them consistent by not switching from one person to another in the same sentence. When multiple antecedents differ in person and are connected by and, or nor, the pronoun must take the person of only one of the antecedents. In this example, the pronoun our takes the same person as the pronoun I. You and I need to write our reports. The third way that a pronoun and its antecedent need to agree is in number. Sometimes this agreement is not straightforward. For example, where antecedents are joined by and, you usually use a plural pronoun. An exception is when the compound antecedent refers to a single entity. Another exception is